Hello there, I'm Martin Kentish. This is the Thinking Bean podcast. Today, I am going to talk about a new word that I learnt, and that word is homophily. Now, when I first saw it, I had a stab of what it meant. Homo meaning man, I think. Phily either meaning love or soft cheese. So either means man love or man cheese of some sorts. But fortunately, it was neither of those things. Homophily is basically a word to describe how people like spending time with people like themselves. Birds of a feather flock together kind of thing. Now, this was brought up by a fantastic stand-up comedian called Barry Wern, I think his name is. Here's a picture of the stand-up lying down. And here's a picture of the stand-up sitting down in Barry's Economics, which is a fantastic podcast. If you've not heard of it, look it up. Really, really interesting. Really, really funny too. Now, Barry's Economics was talked about by another fantastic podcast called Gary's Economics. So Gary mentioned Barry that mentioned homophily. So I want to give you a couple of examples of homophily. Now, north of Norwich, we have a road called the NDR, or the Broadland Northway. It's got a bit of an identity crisis. Now, this road is famous for its roundabouts because they are crap. Since it opened, there have been thousands and thousands of people crashing into the side of each other going round, or just crashing over the roundabout, parking in the middle. Everybody that's driven on them says they're rubbish, including the police and driving instructors. Yet if you were to raise this issue of them being a crap design with the council, they will say things like, well, we have had independent consultants who have confirmed that you are completely conforming to compliance and compliance with conformity of strategies for roundabout design, kind of thing. Suggesting there's a bit of a blind spot in their thinking, because they probably spend lots of time with people like themselves whose emphasis is on conformity and compliance. And the blind spot being they fail to spot that they're rubbish. I'll give you another example. I think this is a national example. Pedestrian crossings. Do you remember them? You used to push the button and there would be a green or red man in front of you across the road, so you knew where you were looking. And when the red man turned to a green man, there would be a bleep, 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 bleep kind of thing. You knew it's safe to cross. And as you were walking, you were reassured with the green or red men. You could clearly see them. And when the green man started flashing, it means you better hurry up because you're about to get run over. But for some reason, hundreds of millions of pounds have been spent in the UK changing the design of these pedestrian crossings. And now the green or red man is either there to your left or there to your right on the post. So that means if you've got either a tall person or a fat person, or a tall fat person, or anybody for that matter, standing next to you waiting to cross with you, you cannot see if it's safe to cross or not. And also, that bleep has disappeared. So even when it is safe to cross, you don't know it is. And if you stand at these crossings and just look at the people, they look confused. The amount of near misses and the amount of people that have been hit by cars because of these because of these crossings is absolutely incredible. So it's another example of homophily. The people who designed these were focusing on something other than the real world lived experience of the people that would actually use them. So here's a third example that I'm going to make up completely because I can. Imagine you commissioned a parish council or a local council or anybody in the council to design a toaster. Now, their emphasis is going to be, is it compliant? Does it meet all the electric regulations, all that kind of stuff? I completely get that. The blind spot may be they forgot to think about the bread that people put in it. So when it gets made and gets distributed, people are thinking, I can't get my bread in the toaster because the hole's not big enough or it's the wrong shape. That's an example of homophily. The people who designed that toaster was looking at something, yet the world experience faced by the people that were going to use it was a blind spot to them. So there we go. Homophily, thank you to Barry's Economics and Gary's Economics. Both YouTube channels, by the way, are excellent. Go to them, subscribe and do all that kind of YouTube-y stuff. And I will be back in, I don't know how long, because I've only just started doing these things. And if you like what I'm talking about, please like the video or subscribe to the video. And when I do a next one, you'll be unfortunate enough to actually hear about it. So thank you very much. See you again. Bye-bye. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I've actually got a mug as well, just like Gary and Barry.